everyone. Thank you very much for joining our second episode of Fireside Conversations with Dr. Mamta Vishwanath. It's lovely to have you all with us. And a very big warm welcome to Mamta, a very old friend and an incredibly down to earth person who I've had the pleasure of knowing for a very long time. So she's an academic. She's passionate about health, nutrition, and fitness. She loves to run, trek, and teach yoga. And all of this when she's not actively engaged in research and writing. She conducts educational workshops and motivational lectures for school children and women. But on the other side, she also has a master's in political science and a PhD in public policy. She has taught at school and university levels. She's taught at the National Defense Academy. She's authored articles in research journals. So it's my absolute pleasure and privilege to welcome you, Mamta, here for our conversation today. A big warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramya. It's an absolute privilege and an honor. And I'm totally delighted to be our August audience today. Really look forward to sharing what I have learned in all these years and hope we have a very fruitful and interesting conversation.
Absolutely, and I'm very much looking forward to that. So, Mamta, talk me through a bit about how you got into nutrition, how you got into women's health, and focusing on children.
Yeah, right from childhood, I've been interested in fitness and health, and as I grew, the passion has only increased, And in teenage years, right from childhood, I've been doing yoga thanks to my father, and it was really amazing to be active, and along with the sports in school. I used to feel happy to be doing yoga or to be running or to be doing any kind of physical activity. And later on, when we were in NCC, we got to do a lot of adventure activities. That has really fueled the passion and desire to be connected with anything to do with health and nutrition. Both are like complementary, they go together. So yeah, I'm really passionate about it and happy to do whatever bit I can.
Wonderful. And you're also an accredited nutrition counselor, aren't you? And a yoga teacher.
Yeah, first classes I took was in 97, and since then on and off I've been taking classes, but mostly it has been pro bono. I haven't taken it up as a professionally. Yeah. So main thing is academics, and this is like my dessert, what really interests me so far. And when I heard about the nutrition part, like we have been seeing right from our childhood what goes on, and like in our family what we learn from our surrounding and whatever we have read up so far. So nowadays we have so many really good courses. So somehow I got interested and started and like really liking it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So without further ado, I'll let you, Mamta, tell us a bit more about, give us your perspectives on nutrition in women and children. We'll also have a Q&A at the end, just a chance for us to answer some of the common questions that one might encounter, or a few questions that our users and audience might have for you.
Yeah, whenever I get an opportunity to talk to women or children, and I start talking about before I start talking about health, I always ask a question, a very simple question to the gathering, which is like, what is the ultimate goal in life? Though it sounds really big and whatever, but I get various answers. But what I'm looking for is just one small word, which is happiness. And I'm sure many people will agree with me that finally it is happiness we are looking for or we are living for. So happiness is a state of mind, emotion when we are feeling very healthy, when we are not angry, when we are not frustrated, no negative emotions, and that can be possible only when we are not tired, not exhausted, not sick because of any kind of diseases. And that is what is being healthy does to us. So happy is equivalent to healthy. And to maintain health, two things are very important: exercise and nutrition, food and exercise. So today we'll talk about nutrition. So food is the fuel of our body, uh, and just like a machine needs a good quality of fuel to run at its optimum, that's how we need good food and in adequate amount. And this good food or nutrition can make us healthy and strong. And as all of you know, physical health extends to mental health also. If we are not in good physical shape, definitely it will affect our state of mind too. So being physically healthy is a must for sound mental health. That's what I believe. And finally, we are what we eat. That's what in Eastern philosophy we believe. If we eat, if we want to live a fuller life, it's better that we eat simple and keep it to basics. And this is just to keep you interested. So it's totally up to us what do we want from life and how we can do it. If we want happiness and health in our life, then we have to make a choice that what we eat is right, and so that we can live well. And of course, it's very important for both women and children. Nowadays, uh, we basically don't get to exercise and walk. In earlier times, there were no vehicles, and also people used to travel long distances. Every day, they used to, if they're going out of the house for fetching water, for cutting firewood, they used to walk and walk a lot. In villages, they still do, I believe, but in cities, that's not seen. And not many take up sports also seriously, so they don't get exercise. So this kind of sedentary lifestyle with the children only studying on the table and chair and just studying for long hours, and ladies doing household chores and just shopping from their comforts of their house, life has become pretty sedentary. And we have data that this kind of lifestyle is detrimental to the health of women as well as children. And to look after children, women need to be fit. Otherwise, their whole life is affected. They are not healthy. They will not be able to ensure that their children are happy. So it is doubly important that women make an effort to remain healthy. And further physical changes in women's body due to young age, it is puberty, then childbearing and breastfeeding, and later on issues like menopause. They bring in a lot of changes in our bodies, and we need to be physically and mentally prepared to face these issues and tackle it well, so that we can retain optimum health. So for children, again, the problem is acute nowadays. With last 2 years, schools have closed down. So perforce, they don't have organized sports activities. They are not going to and coming back from school, when many of them used to commute and maybe cycle to school or walk to school. That is not happening. So all these things have really increased the necessity to be aware and make some effort to include good food in our diet. Now, this is how I want to see women, happy and healthy and eating the right food. That is my dream. I want all women to be like this. So I hope you are in agreement. So let's talk about how lack of good nutrition affects women, particularly in detail. So in the younger age group, lack of nutrition affects healthy growth and physical development of girls. malnutrition, hunger, junk food, all these pose challenges in adolescent years. When what is seen is they might have like phases where they don't want to eat, or they want to, if they are under stress, they will eat too much. Both the things are not healthy. It will either lead to obesity or lead to extreme thinness. Both are not healthy. They will not be strong enough to live a full life, to cope with this school pressures, and they will not be able to enjoy life. They will not be able to enjoy sports and many other co-curricular activities. And when this is the stage, then it will affect their mental health also. They will become sad, they will become angry, they will become frustrated, they will feel withdrawn. And later on, when it carries on after adolescence, finally I think women age faster if they don't take good care of themselves. And this is also how I want to see women, girls growing into strong women, and women just keeping at it and making efforts to remain fit and strong and healthy and not age faster. Because being healthy, being flexible uh, is uh, the key to a long life and healthy life. Now let's look at how a lack of good nutrition affects children particularly. So when we talk about children in school, if they don't get good nutrition, it will affect their thinking, it will affect their motor skills, their behavior and health. They will become cranky, and whatever food they are eating, it is not catering to their need. If they if like we all know that according to WHO, we need these 7 elements in our body: uh, water, carbs, fat, protein, vitamins, minerals, and fiber in specific quantities. If any of these are missing or lacking in our diet, then they affect very much the children, because they are at a very impressionable age, they are at a growing age. So it is very important that they get proper nutrition, and which will manifest into their healthy life, their joyful faces. They will be active, and they will be able to focus properly in school, and their academic performance will improve. And lack of proper diet will impact learning and memory, and affect physical development of children, and their immunity will be down. They will have illnesses very often. They will have sore throat, colds, these kind of illnesses. They will have very often headaches and stomach aches. On the other hand, if they are getting proper nutrition, it will help in their cognitive ability. They will be able to concentrate, they will be happy, and their energy levels will be at a desired level. And when we talk about good food for children, it is believed that first meal, that is breakfast, is very important, because whole night our body has been fasting, and we really are low on energy when we get up in the morning. So children especially, and others also for that matter, breakfast is very important. And it can enhance their psychological well-being, can tackle other problems like aggression and indiscipline problems in school. So now this is how I want to see the children: happy and healthy and cheerful, and they are being happy, and they make the family and school and everybody around them happy. Now let's talk about what makes a nutritious diet or a balanced diet. So we all know this, but just to remind ourselves of it, children need complex carbohydrates, more fiber, less fat, and they need more green vegetables, fruits, whole grains, milk, protein, nuts, and seeds. And it is finally up to us ladies to ensure that we give this balanced diet to children. And before we give them, it is very important that we know about it, we ensure that our children get it, and we ensure that we also get it. So this is just an image to remind ourselves again what all we need in our diet: calcium, vitamin D, milk and yogurt, and dairy, meat and poultry for people who have non-veg, and a lot of vegetables for fiber. Now let's talk about how can we improve nutrition. So let's keep it very basic and very simple. It's not a rocket science how we can make our children a healthy snack or take care of their nutritional requirements. So first thing would be to just note what we are doing in our current diet, what kind of food we are taking. Are we taking enough fruits and vegetables? Do we get enough calcium from our dairy or from nuts or other sources? Do we give enough grains and high fiber foods to our children? So keeping track of this will help us assess our diet, that on the day-to-day basis, what are we eating, and where are we lacking, if at all. And if our children have any specific issues, then we must consult a doctor, and if possible and if required, to a dietitian, and make a plan of what would be better to ensure a nutritional diet for our children. So other things which are recommended is we should cut down on unhealthy fats, dark chicken meat, poultry skin, and pork, beef, and lamb, and include maybe skimmed food, skimmed milk, and not have too much of fat and all that. Eat plenty of vegetables, and generally children don't like to eat vegetables because they don't find them tasty. Now it is up to us to make it presentable and make it an enjoyable experience and make it tasty also. So there are ways we have to be very innovative to present vegetables full of fiber in snacks for the children. And of course, I'm sure you will agree with me, hot and nutritious home cooked food is the best. We don't have any loss of nutrition because it is fresh, and we know what kind of quality ingredients we have used at our home, what kind of hygiene and sanitation we have taken care of. Another thing we can be really vigilant about is read nutrition labels on packaged foods. In fact, cut down on packaged foods. And when we talk about ourselves, it is important when we go out that we mind our portion size and drink a lot of water. So it is up to us. Teach our children to eat real food, no fast foods, no junk foods, no processed foods. Well, most of the times. And honestly, just give them a nutritious, real food, because habits form at a young age. So, double responsibility women have. If we want to keep healthy, if we want our children to be healthy, then we have to do this. Now, this is one quote I really like. Uh, it says, "He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything." Yeah, if we don't have health, there is nothing, because we can't enjoy anything. Um, and that's all for today. I wanted to share with you. Now, over to Dr. Ramya.
Thank you so much, Mamta, for a very insightful and succinct presentation. It was all very simple but full of information,
Yes.
very well put across. So, thank you very much. And indeed, as you say, if we are able to adopt some very simple principles in our day-to-day life and be honest and real about what we take into our system, that would go a long way indeed. And as you rightly said, women have a big role to play, not just in maintaining their own health, but also in terms of how they promote food as a culture within their family, and how that's taken forward into the next generation. So that was wonderful. Thank you very much. Run us through your day. What's your typical day like? What is your kind of nutritional mantra day to day? How does that work?
Oh, that's a very good question. I really like it. So, as I told you, I like to keep it very simple and not be very technical about things. Like, I don't measure food like this much I should have, or measure fat, or measure carbs, or whatever. I just apply simple logic and whatever we have learned from our and elders, because they have a ancient wisdom with them, so it's better that we learn from them. So I get up at yeah, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, I was going to say it's just about making sure we've got a very balanced. We know, don't we? It's roughly, that you're using the various food groups and you're in a balanced way. You're presenting it in a harmonious way, and that's what constitutes good nutrition. Yeah, sorry, do go on.
Yeah. So, well, we all get up at 5 o'clock, and I go out with my pet for a walk. After that walk, I come and make breakfast for my husband and for kids. And generally, because as they take packed or whatever, so it is some days it is vegetable sandwiches. Some days it is stuffed parathas. So some vegetables go in that, and sometimes it's upma and vegetable upma, and sometimes idli. So just keeping it simple. Sometimes dalia, porridge, either salty or with milk, and along with fruits and milk. And if we elders, we have tea or coffee with it. And then I do my yoga. It is 1 hour and 15 minutes. I do stretching and yoga and all. After that, for lunch, generally I make rice and dal, one or two vegetables, and chapati along with curd. So that is my basic lunch. And at 12 o'clock, I have a glass of milk sometimes, or maybe juice or some fruits. And when kids they come back from school, we give them lunch. And around 5:30 or 6, we have tea. And again, children will have some snacks. These snacks, not all the times are healthy, I would say, but
Oh,
I try to.
enjoy
I
life
try
too.
to. We can give them fruits or juices, or make something fresh, maybe instead of having something packaged, we can make just cut potato and dip it in batter and make some pakoras. That is fine. Even if it is oil, like it's not like, I don't believe that oily and fried is totally prohibited. No, there can be a healthy mix, like once in a while if we have, because it's fresh, so that won't harm. And main thing is, we should portion, mind our portions, how much we eat.
Yes.
It's not like this we should not totally eat, we should not eat at all. It's not like that. I don't believe in that. We can eat everything, but in small
Moderate.
portions.
Yeah.
Yeah, moderate our helpings. And then dinner is basically again chapatis, and I do put ghee over chapatis, because
Good.
I've heard like sukha chapatis or without ghee is supposed to be had only if you are not well. Otherwise, I think 2 teaspoons full of ghee once in a day is very good. That's what I've read according to Ayurveda. So chapati and sabji and dal, and maybe a sweet dish. That is the dinner. And then a cup of healthy milk before going to bed. That is how my day ends.
Hmm. And it all sounds, and as you said, it all sounds very simple and harmonious and steady, and that's the key, really, isn't it? In terms of, and you're absolutely right. Nutrition is a key aspect of maintaining overall health, and it's the basis really for good physical and mental health. Are some of the common questions we do encounter, particularly with my South Asian origin. One of the questions I get asked is, well, how do you manage as a vegetarian? Of course, now we've seen as obviously there's been a big awareness campaign, really, and lots of people are now talking about vegetarianism and veganism. Now we even have a veganori to celebrate veganism in January. So the world's come a long way in terms of understanding the concepts of vegetarianism and veganism. But of course, in India, it's very much a deep rooted part of the food and the nutrition culture, isn't it? Um, how in today's world can we ensure that we are able to carry on with a vegetarian and vegan diet, irrespective of where we live in the world, whether it's the Western world or the Eastern world? How can we use that as the energy for our day in life? What are your thoughts on that?
That's really interesting. If you remember, Ramya, we were together in Canada when we were younger, and we were there for more than 3 months. I
Yes.
think in all that long period, I am proud to say that not even once, like by mistake, also I had eaten anything non-veg or even eggs or whatever.
I think the two of
So
us were
you know,
have been vegetarians.
yes,
Yes.
yes. So some of us, like by mistake, we had, but I even by mistake I never had, and we had a very active schedule. You know, we used to go to our workplaces and come back and do sporty activities. Also, weekends also were very packed. With outdoor activities and all, so I think I was always full of energy, and I could maintain a totally pure vegetarian lifestyle. And I included a lot of dairy in my diet. And mornings we used to have a bagel and a fruit and juice. Uh, and before leaving the house, we used to have cereal and all. And after coming back, I used to cook. So I could manage. So I think if I can manage, many others can also. We used to go to the superstore and get all the vegetarian stuff. Everything is available. Everything is available everywhere
Yes.
nowadays.
Yes. Yes.
So options
But
are many.
I think certainly, I think you're absolutely right. But we're talking about quite a while ago, and even then we were able to sustain it. I
Yeah,
see your
yeah,
point. But now there are sections in superstores dedicated to vegetarianism and veganism, and it has become so easy, and
yeah.
it's a healthy new lifestyle that people are adopting. But particularly relevant, of course, in South Asian women and children, because I think traditionally there have been concerns around iron deficiency, anemia, all of that. So it just, of course, it means that, again, as long as we're aware that we're taking in different food groups, we're absolutely okay, and we are able to sustain an energy filled and motivated life. There's also, I suppose, one of the other things that I commonly encounter, certainly in my line of practice, is the enormous amount of pressure on young women today, enormous amount of pressure to look and present themselves a certain way, which must be, and it takes a toll on them, really, in terms of how they perceive themselves, their body image. And of course, a lot is connected to nutrition and external appearance. I suppose one question that really does come to my mind is, how can we, as women, use nutrition within our family to help our children connect the outside world to their inner woman or child, really? How can we bridge the gap and help them? How can we help them to look at food as a way of nurture? And how can we bridge that gap between the outside and the inside through good nutrition? How can we promote
Yeah,
the culture within families from a very young age?
yeah. That's also again going back to whatever we have seen in when we were younger, what we used to see when we used to sit with our families and all. I think you will remember that there was a time, or our parents used to insist that when we come and sit down for food, we should wash our hands, we should wash our feet, and then when the food is served in front of us, we will just join our hands and close our eyes, maybe chant something, and be mindful before partaking this food, that it's going to rejuvenate me, this is going to be good for me. So being thankful about it, so this used to be a small ritual in many houses. I think nowadays people have become so busy and so distant from these small rituals, but they go a long way in reinforcing positive things in our mind, and transferring the same values or whatever small rituals to our kids. I
Absolutely.
think when now that we understand these things in a new light, I
Yes.
think we will appreciate this and try to go back to the basics and to what our parents used to say. That's a very nice way to do it.
Absolutely. So it's these little pockets of mindfulness that we need to take back. And yes, now the term mindfulness has been relatively, it's come to the fore quite a bit now. And but yes, you're absolutely right. It's about being aware, going back to our own childhoods and seeing how we were able to associate being mindful with what we take in, being more aware of the texture, the feel, the taste of food, simple exercises that go a long way. And also about having an approach, isn't it, or an approach to food that's about being welcoming, that's about being harmonious with who we are as a family, as individuals, normalizing conversations and all of that, and promoting that very positive culture, balanced culture within families from a very young age will go a long way. One of the other things we commonly hear about, of course, is diabetes. It's becoming more and more of a global health issue, alongside the increase in obesity and the changes to lifestyles. And it's particularly, we see it in South Asians again, don't we? Have the highest incidence of diabetes in the world. Very unfortunate statistic. And also at the same time, in parallel, we are also hearing more and more about phasing your food, intermittent fasting. There's more and more research coming up around that. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's again a very good question. When we talk about diabetes, yeah, the prevalence is increasing only. There was a time like our grandparents' generation never heard about it. They used to, till their ripe old age, they used to eat everything, and these things were never the issue. So maybe nowadays we have more of facilities like of testing and all. Earlier, those things were not there, so we have more of data. So we have a lot of testing, and if there is any like symptoms related to diabetes, people will go for testing, and then they are like diagnosed, okay, you have diabetes. Earlier this was not there, so we didn't have any data. But of course, we all know that our last generation, they lived very well, and healthy. So their food, whatever they had, must be of really good quality. First of all, it was free of all fertilizers and pesticides and all that. And of course, they used to do a lot of hard work in rural areas. Whatever they used to eat, it used to be digested very well. So
Yes.
when I say digested very well, even the sugar and like the main thing, the main culprit, it used to be digested very well. They used to eat a lot of sweets. And again, another thing is, when they used to eat sweets, it was not consuming white sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were consuming jaggery or the brown sugar or those kind of variants. So that makes a lot of difference. White sugar is the main culprit.
Yes.
White sugar and the refined flour. These two white things which look good. Maida and sugar. These two things are like difficult to digest and difficult to absorb in our body.
So we need
So
foods with low glycemic index, whether it's everything brown.
yeah. And another thing is, what I have come across is, like whatever sugar we get from fruits, that is fructose, it is easily digestible. We don't have any problem with that. So what I read is, like, people can have sweet fruits, that's not a problem, our body can adjust. That conversion of sugar takes place and fine and all that. It's only the artificial sugar which we consume, it's difficult to manage in our system. So that is one issue. And how we can combat it is, again, taking a look at what we are consuming. So another aspect is, nowadays, when we talk about carbs and everyday grains, we are having wheat and we are having rice. These are the main two grains we are having. And other the rough grains, barley and jowar and ragi and oats and all that, that is like minimal intake of those really hardy grains, those were really solid. All the substantial nutrition value they had, a lot of they have a lot of nutrition value. But uh, wheat and rice, they were commercially grown. This is more profitable to grow. So farmers, with time, they have changed the pattern of cropping and all, and they began producing more of wheat and rice, and people started consuming more of wheat and rice. So if we check what we are eating, and if we go back and maybe include these grains which are more healthy, maybe little by little, instead of white processed rice, if we take brown rice, or include ragi and jowar and maize, these kind of cereals in our diet, it's not difficult to combat uh, diabetes at all. It can be kept in check, I'm very sure.
The bottom line is basically making sure we have more complex carbohydrates, low glycemic index foods, trying to overcome a sedentary lifestyle, being on the go, being a bit more mobile, having the right portion sizes, and of
Yeah.
course, monitoring things that should hopefully help and go a long way. What are your thoughts on intermittent fasting?
Yes, I was just coming to that. Intermittent fasting, it's nowadays it's the catchword people are taking up and all. But in our culture, it has always been there. Like fasting once in a week was always there. Some people used to fast even 2 days in a week, or there were specific days, you could fast on this day and all. And when fasting, there are different types also. Like some people were having only fruits on that day, and some people were having only one meal in a day. So I have done it myself, so I can maybe with some confidence I can share what I used to do. I was really fascinated by older women around me, didis and aunties and mama, my mama. They used to fast once in a week. So I was very much interested, and I used to say, it's like testing of our willpower. Can I remain hungry? Can I abstain from food? And it was that kind of craze, which drove me. And I really convinced my mother I need to start fasting. So I think I started when I was quite young, ninth or 10th standard. But once a week I used to fast, and I used to have one meal. So one meal used to be the lunch. I will have rice and dal and sabzi and roti. And in for breakfast and for dinner, I will just have fruits, juice or milk. So all these years, like I kept doing it for a very long time, and I used to feel very light that day. The day I used to fast, I used to feel very light and very active and happy also, I think. So if it works for me, I think people can try. If it works for them, why not? I mean, it will give some rest and to our system, and it will rebuild again and be ready for digestive process, once in a week, just
Yes.
overhauling the system maybe. And
Yes.
simple.
Yes, no, that's wonderful. Yes, and indeed, I think from a scientific perspective as well, now that the studies are pouring in, we're able to see the benefits of that on our metabolism and on it just in terms of the way the body perceives and processes sugar, and consequently has a positive impact on our health. No, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Mamta, for your time, for your expertise, and for talking to us at Cape for Health. And certainly with Cape, we are always very, very keen about promoting a very comprehensive approach to one's health and lifestyle. And that does involve an integration of various aspects of one's life, really, in a harmonious manner. So it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much from all of us at Team Cape, and we look forward to having you back sometime in the future. I'd just like to say to our audience, thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure you'll have more questions. Unfortunately, we don't have time for that today, but do feel free to drop us your questions on the email that you see on the screen, and we will try our best to get back to you. Or you could ask the question directly on our YouTube channel, and we should be able to help you with that as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and happy eating. Bye for now.